Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be reading from a subreddit. So with that being said, let's get into the stories, shall we? Story 1. Something isn't right about my husband. My husband has been distant and secretive lately. He has a strange obsession with our home security cameras. Whenever I try to look at the footage, he always interrupts me saying things like, "You can't see anything there," or "That doesn't mean anything." When I ask him why he's so protective of the footage, he just tells me it's none of my business and to leave it alone. He also recently installed a hidden camera in our bedroom. I confronted him about it, and he said that it was for our protection. I told him that it was a violation of privacy, and I want it removed. But he just gave me a strange look and said that if I touch his things again, I'll regret it. I don't know what to do anymore. I feel like he is hiding something, and I can't stop thinking about what he could be up to when I am not around. I tried talking to a friend about it, but she told me to just get over it and move on. But I can't shake this feeling that something isn't right. I feel like he has become a different person since he moved in, and I don't know if I can trust him anymore. Every time I try to talk to him about how he's acting, he just gets defensive and tells me that I'm crazy and making things up. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Update. Thank you all for your advice. I have reached out to a domestic violence hotline, and they are helping me make a safety plan. I've also been in contact with a therapist who specializes in helping people with anxiety and PTSD. They gonna help me work through some of the trauma I've experienced in my past relationships, and hopefully that will help me better understand what I am going through now. It's not easy admitting that I need help, but I know that I can't keep living like this. I deserve to be happy, and I deserve to be in a relationship where I feel safe and respected. It's not easy breaking away from a toxic partner, but I'm determined to do whatever it takes to protect myself and my son. I know that it won't be easy, but I'm committed to doing whatever it takes to make sure that we're safe. I think this is a really sad situation. The husband has become increasingly controlling and manipulative towards his wife and has been using the excuse of their protection to justify his actions. He has installed a hidden camera in the bedroom and is monitoring his wife's every move. He is also gaslighting her, making her question her own sanity and making her feel like she is making things up. It is clear that he is hiding something and that he is not being honest with his wife. This is a classic example of emotional abuse, and it is important to recognize the signs of manipulation and control in a relationship. If you suspect that your partner is behaving in a manipulative or controlling manner, it is important to seek help and support. Remember, you are not alone, and there are resources available to help you. Please reach out to a trusted friend or family member, or contact a domestic violence hotline. Story 2. I was washing the dishes and saw a video on our baby monitor. I was washing dishes late at night when I saw something on our baby monitor that made me drop the plate. Our baby monitor had a video option, and most of the time it was turned off. We only used it for sound when we were putting our daughter down for bed. On this occasion, however, the video was on, and I saw a shadow figure standing by our baby's crib. I rubbed my eyes and looked again, but it was gone. I told my wife about it, and she said that it must have been a trick of the light. We checked the room and made sure that the door was closed and that there was no one else in the room. My wife said that it was probably just our imaginations and that we should go to bed, but I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the video in my head, and I couldn't get the image of the shadow figure out of my mind. I decided to stay up and watch the monitor just in case. In the morning, when I told my wife that I hadn't slept, she was annoyed. She said that I had been paranoid and that I had made a big deal out of nothing. I still couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right, so I decided to check the footage on the monitor. I found the video and watched it again and again. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was a shadow figure standing by the crib. I knew that it wasn't a trick of the light or my imagination. I was determined to get to the bottom of it. I checked the windows and doors to make sure that they were locked and that no one could have entered the room without us knowing it. I even checked the closet to make sure that there wasn't anyone hiding in there, but I didn't find anyone. I was puzzled and scared. I didn't know what to do next. I decided to take a break and go for a walk. As I was walking, I tried to calm myself down and think logically about the situation. I told myself that there was a rational explanation for what I had seen. It had to be something simple, like a draft or a faulty wire. But as I walked, my anxiety began to return. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I decided to go home and check the monitor again. When I got home, I checked the monitor and I saw the shadow figure again. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. I called the police and told them about what I had seen. They came to my house and searched it, but didn't find anyone. They suggested that I install a security camera in the room, but I was too scared to stay in the house. I packed a bag and went to stay with a friend. I still don't know what happened that night. The thought of a shadow figure lurking in my baby's room keeps me up at night. I am too scared to go back home and check the monitor. What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments below. Story 3. A neighbor left a comment. I live in an apartment building, and there is a playground in the courtyard between the buildings. At night, I sometimes hear children laughing and playing. But tonight, I heard what sounded like screams in the courtyard. I opened my window to listen and saw a dark shadow figure running around the playground. I slammed the window shut and locked it, then turned on all the lights in my apartment. Maybe it was just a stray cat, or maybe it was nothing more than my imagination. But either way, I didn't want to think about it too much. Then I noticed a strange comment on my Ring camera footage. The day before, I had gotten a notification that someone had commented on a video on my Ring camera. I opened the app and saw a comment from a neighbor. She had commented on a video from the day before when I had been sitting on my porch. Her comment was, "Who are you?" I was confused because I had never spoken to this woman before, and I didn't know why she would comment on my video. I decided to ignore it and close the app, but the next day, I got another notification. This time, it was a video from the same day, and the comment was, "What are you doing?" I was getting creeped out, and I decided to confront the woman. I went to her door and knocked, but no one answered. I tried calling her, but the call went straight to voicemail. I decided to leave a message and asked her why she was commenting on my videos. I waited for a response, but I never heard back from her. I decided to check my Ring camera footage to see if I had missed anything. And that's when I saw it. The day before, a dark shadow figure had been standing outside my apartment. It was too dark to make out any details, but I could have sworn it was the same woman who had commented on my videos. I was getting scared, and I decided to call the police. They came and took a report, but they didn't find any evidence of a crime. The officer suggested that I just ignore the comments and move on, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I decided to check my Ring camera footage again, and that's when I saw it. The shadow figure was back. It was standing outside my apartment, and it was watching me. I screamed and ran to hide in my bedroom. I stayed there for hours until I felt brave enough to come out. I decided to check the footage again, and that's when I saw it. The shadow figure had disappeared. I was relieved, but I was still scared. I don't know what the shadow figure is, but I know that it's watching me. Story 4. The Doll. I was babysitting my niece and nephew while my sister and her husband went out for the evening. My niece is 7 and my nephew is 4. They both have their own rooms, and we have a large house with many nooks and crannies. I got them ready for bed and tucked them in. Then I went to watch TV in the living room. About half an hour later, I heard loud thumping coming from my niece's room. I went to investigate and found her standing by her bed, looking scared. She told me that she had heard a noise and was afraid to go back to sleep. So I stayed in her room with her for a few minutes until she calmed down and went back to sleep. A little while later, I heard a loud crash coming from my nephew's room. I rushed in and found him sitting on the floor next to his bed with a teddy bear in his hands. He told me that he had heard a noise, and that's when the teddy bear fell off the shelf. I picked up the teddy bear and placed it back on the shelf. Then I tucked him back into bed and left. A few minutes later, I heard another loud crash coming from my nephew's room. I went in to check on him again and found him sitting on the floor with a blank look on his face. His teddy bear was lying on the floor next to him. I asked him what happened, and he told me that he didn't know. He said that the teddy bear just fell off the shelf by itself. I was confused because I had just placed the teddy bear back on the shelf. I picked it up and examined it. There was no damage to the shelf or the wall behind it. I placed the teddy bear back on the shelf and tucked my nephew back into bed. Then I left the room. A few minutes later, I heard a loud crash and I rushed into my nephew's room. I found him sitting on the floor with a doll in his hands. The doll was staring at me with its soulless eyes, and its arms were outstretched as if it was trying to grab me. I screamed and threw the doll to the ground. It landed on the floor with a thud. I backed away from my nephew's bed and stared at the doll. It had a strange, eerie smile on its face. I picked the doll up and threw it in the corner of the room. Then I ran out of the room to get away from the creepy doll. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. Also be sure to share this video with your friends so they can enjoy it too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.